Good evening, at least for me. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm so happy and excited to be here with all of you. Chris, you put another amazing panel together. It's such an honor to see all of you and so many known faces, some new. So before we dive right into it, I would like to ask each of you just to present yourself shortly, and then we'll dive into it. So just taking following the lines. I see Megan is first in line, so take it away. You're on mute. You can unmute, yeah.
Good morning. I'm Megan, a student and teacher of truth, and I carry the light around the globe. On the Earth planet, I am a real estate agent and a holistic health practitioner. Yeah, so my focus is wellness. I help people find a home for their body in real estate, and I help people find a home in their body with holistic health and luxury wellness. I've been in the luxury wellness industry for 25 years in real estate and holistic health. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited to already start talking, but let's first check all the others as well. Eva, welcome. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eva from evolution.net. I create content for paradigm shift and for people to remember that everything depends in resonance and frequency state because you 3D print reality with your gears of thinking. So I create visuals and immersive experiences for people to inner explore themselves and have transcendental experiences without substances or gurus or whatsoever, just looking inwards but outwards. And thank you for bringing me here and talk about how time travel or conscious travel or physical travel or have no travel. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you everyone for coming back. And thank you for seeing you again because it was an amazing panel last time. So thank you.
Brilliant. Happy to have you. Welcome. Emily, so great to see you again. Happy to gather again.
Hello, it's so good to see so many familiar faces. This is awesome. I'm really excited for today. I am Emily Wright. I am the creator of It'll Be Alright. I am a writer, written a couple books. The first one is about the relationship between the algorithmic bias and subconscious bias and the psychology of discrimination. And then I wrote another book about consciousness, the potential of our consciousness and the evolution of such. I'm also a lucid dreamer, which was really fun. So I have written a lot about that, and I'm going to be publishing my dream journals someday and publishing like a handbook on vibrational matrix manipulation in the dream state. Yeah.
Exciting. Lynn, welcome.
Hi, it's my first time here. I'm so excited. Yes, Lynn Gravatt, former aerospace engineer turned spiritual guide and energy worker, and I'm just going to put it out there, starseed.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I know there's some others in the room. And so, yeah, I guess what's relevant is I also have a nonprofit and ascension space, and I'm living and working in person in St. Croix, the Virgin Islands. And so I'm really excited for this conversation. Yeah, and I'm the creator of the Purpose Embodiment Method, which is a inner healing process to upgrade our DNA for our next level.
And great mandala behind you, by the way. Really love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Christian, so good to see you. Where are you this moment in the world? It's been such a long time.
I know it's been such a long time, but it's great to be back and see some familiar faces, also some new faces as well. My name is Christian Brown. I'm based in Paris, so I'm in Paris now by way of Atlanta, Georgia. And I've been here in Paris for the past 2 years working on a startup called Blemish, where our goal is to unlock global access to mental wellness through the use of emerging technologies and human collaboration. And as well as that, I'm a writer. And so truthfully, I'm just living out a teenage dream of being a writer in Paris, writing about self-discovery and healing, but also working on Blemish. And soon I'll be releasing a new venture called packitup.org, where I help others to thrive abroad through a collection of skills related to wellness and sustainability. And other things. But happy to be here and to see you all.
Love it. Thank you. Welcome. Adam, welcome as well.
Hey, everyone. Good to be here. I think this is my second roundtable, and I'm really blessed to be a part of here at GatherVerse. I'm based in Los Angeles. I'm a former UX designer turned certified digital well-being educator. Also been a student for the past 15 years of Chinese tea culture and Eastern philosophy. And I've been a facilitator of what I call slow tea experiences and immersives for workplace wellness since 2016. So thank you.
Wow, that's so amazing. I love the Eastern metaphysics part of it as well. You have another fan in the room. So, and last but definitely not least, I've been waiting for this since so much. Trish, welcome. Finally, we're in the same panel. We meet at least online. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you, GatherVerse, for having me today. And it's great to see so many friends on one screen. My name is Trish Kane. I'm the CEO and founder of HealerVerse. It's the first global social media platform and ticket marketplace globally for healing and wellness events and growth events. And yeah, we're an MVP right now. We're still early on, but it's such an exciting time for humanity as the entire earth is leveling up, and we had a tech blackout this morning. So everything that we thought was going to happen is happening. And I'm super excited to be here, to see some friends, and so great to meet you in person on here.
Brilliant. Love it. It's well, I have to admit, at the moment I'm in Belgium, next to France, and we have a little storm passing by called Louis. So yeah, if something happens, then you know where I am, somewhere in the clouds. So, but nevertheless, let's travel because that's our round table. I would say it's not necessarily traveling in a physical, but maybe in a mentally way. So let's look at from that side. We're not only going to redefine work, wellness, lifestyle. We're just going to change the world this evening. So I'll be happy to hear all your feedback and so on. Let's start with, well, no. I'm gonna switch things up because there was one question that stood really out, I would like to start with, and I think this is perfect with all the amazing people we have here. So sorry, I sometimes just mix things up. So what are the implications of the always on culture for our personal well-being, and how could we manage this or improve this? I think all of you would have a great impression of that. Trish, I see you already responded in the chat, but just raise your hand and then we can start talking. So please.
So what I wrote in the chat was know your human design. So everybody is literally engineered, built differently, structured differently. Human design, you could be a reflector, a projector, manifesting generator, a manifester. I'm a projector. I need to relax a lot. I get bursts of energy and I do things in 2 hours that it takes people 48 hours to do. So like really, I think one of those things is getting to know yourself, setting boundaries, really being in alignment with your energy and knowing what you can and cannot do and saying no a lot.
Yeah, indeed. Anyone else? Everybody knows what their human design, what it is. Megan, please.
Oh, I love that question because I'm a manifesting generator, and I just discovered that in the past 6 months, and it explains a lot. So when I first read this, my first thing was, I don't see that. I don't see the culture of always on. But then just now when you reread it, I have a little brother who works like in the industry in LA, and he's remote, and I've seen him in that stress. He always has to be on. So for me, being in the holistic, and I set this example for real estate, is like taking care of yourself, knowing your human design is the new, and it's not new for us, but that's the chill, that's the elegance, that's the refinement, that's the wealth. That's what we draw from. That is what is attractive. So when I see someone that is acting with ease and grace, and I can feel that, that's someone I want to do business with. Someone that is attached to performing to please someone else, that always on culture, is most likely in their fight or flight, right? They're not in their rest and digest. Their sympathetic nervous system is activated. What they have to offer is not going to be in the highest vibration. So,
yeah, indeed. I see Lynn also had the part of allow others to see your emotions, authenticity. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, well, I'm a crier, and I think this always on culture really limits people to a limited set of emotions, because most people won't allow themselves to show most of themselves. And so what happens is this gets bottled up, and secretly they have anxiety. Secretly they're depressed. Secretly they have all of these mental health issues, where on the outside it's all good, on the inside not so good. So one thing I think is about being around people you can trust and allowing ourselves, if we're in our meeting and something stressful is coming up, especially me as a woman, like I wouldn't be surprised if I cried today, to be honest with you, because it comes up, and we learn to do that. Our emotions come, there's no shame in it. It lasts 30 seconds, 20 seconds. And then we're on to the next thing. But we've created so much shame around having emotion. And so I feel like this always on culture is very much not authentic. And so if you are a person who makes content and you are always on, let the fullness of yourself come through, because that's what we want. Everybody wants authenticity. And so little by little, I've been the one crying on my videos now and then and talking about ETs and out there stuff, and just letting that shine and seeing who shows up.
Yeah, love that. Eva, you also had a great feedback.
For me, about the question is because I download references from the joy paradigm for people to transcend faster the Cartesian, the unified, and the holographic. For me, it's hard to I don't even have to wonder. The images of how resonance should be the standard, they come all the time. And for me to free myself from projecting too much, I perceive my rhythm. So the inner heartbeat, the inner breathing rhythm, and the sacrocranial rhythm really deep in your spine. So you have to be fully aware within. So your gears of thinking doesn't project ideas. You just listen to whatever is vibrating within you. And for me, that's the always on thing that we can't miss, because otherwise you get in the gears of thinking and you keep projecting, I'm going to be happier when I achieve this, or I'm going to be more, whatever, fulfilled. And you miss fulfillment from within, that is presence perception. And that's why I create content to free humans from being trapped in the gears of thinking, because I've been trapped in the gears of thinking for long, until I remember that you just have to perceive within yourself, and that there's real fulfillment. There you can keep inner peace and choose what you vibrate with doing now. That can be having a nap, or can be just to create for 36 hours in a row, and you can channel all that energy that comes, or you can regenerate because you feel your inner waters, what resonates or not, because you're fully present. And from there, you can choose which ideas to follow and which ideas are just memory mixing up, making innovations, which ideas are completely new, that are inventions, or what is your energy to build those ideas, or who is looking for finishing those ideas or exploring those ideas, making physical. Who within you is the one who needs that to happen, not only in your imagination, in physical reality. You can manage that too, and choose if you move forward and do it, or not doing it. But what is always on are those 3 rhythm coherence that when you keep those, perception of those, you can't be trapped in needing to do or needing to achieve or needing to become or needing to be clapped or whatever you're trapped on. So that's my point. 3 rhythm coherence, that always on.
In fact, it's a bit, let's say, contradictory, because we say always on, but at the same time, I would say that that's more the case for people who are disconnected from their selves, because from the moment you're connected with yourself, you will have it easier, let's say, to turn yourself off or to turn yourself, or don't be in the always on mode. Whereas what you see in the corporate world, where you always have to be on top. Somebody sends an email, you have to reply within the day, or you're already like late. And I'm really sorry to admit this, but I'm always running late in that sense. So I have my own timing. But in that sense, it's a bit contradictory. I don't know if you perceive that in the same way, that we speak about always on, but it's more for the people who are disconnected from themselves. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, somebody would like
to. Although I agree with you, just piggybacking off of what you said, Isabel. I think one of the reasons why this culture always on has become such a thing is because of like the rise of social media and comparison, right? I think there's so much comparison going on now to where you feel like if you're not creating or you're not putting your voice out there, then you're behind. But I think it's very toxic, right? I think it just creates this false sense of reality. And I think it can be managed by just realizing that, right? Becoming aware of the fact that no one is always on. And although we have these supercomputers in our mind and our subconscious mind, like we're all on a device right now, but if we never turned it off, what will happen? It would stop working. It would break, And it's with us, right? It's like we need those moments to disconnect, and to just be still and be quiet in order for us to function optimally.
Recharge.
Exactly.
Just recharge yourselves. Yeah. That
Can
also brings me.
Can I
Sorry.
say something?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. No, like I agree with everything that has been said. But like I just think about like myself and what I have learned for managing my own time with social media, especially. And I just try to remember the purpose of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when I pick up my phone, why did I pick up my phone? When I open Instagram, why did I open Instagram? And because I'm not a scroller, I'm not the kind of person that will sit on my phone and scroll and just do it to pass time. And I try and, just think about the technology more purposeful and think about social media as purposeful. I'm going on social media because I want to see what my friends are doing. I'm going on social media because I have something that I want to share. I'm doing it because there's someone that I want to send a message to. And if I pick up my phone and I open Instagram and I don't remember why I did it, then I'll put it down. And then I'll say, like, if it's important, it comes back to you. And then when I remember, I'll go back to it. And it's just like being conscious of how you're using the technology and remembering why you're using a technology is an important part of being aware with your engagement. And then that's when you can have that sort of mental shift where you're in control of your use rather than feeling like it's controlling you. It's kind of like what you were saying, where if they're disconnected with self, they're more likely to be susceptible to always on because their identity is pushed out exterior. Their identity is reliant on the validation of others, and it's about what's happening outside. It's about the things that they do, not who they are, and the beingness, beingness versus doingness. So that's my 2 cents, is just like, if you want to address being always on, address why you're on. Yeah.
That also brings us exactly to the next question. How do these new models of work and lifestyle impact our social connections and even community building? Because you just mentioned, Emily, indeed, like social media. Do we consider this as our social connections? Up to what extent? And in terms of community building, what does this imply?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think like obviously with social media and our technology and the internet has enabled us to make amazing connections across the globe. I mean, just look at GatherVerse, look at who's in the room, and it's beautiful. But there also is this kind of other side to it where, like, yeah, it's great that you have all this social connection online, sorry, and there are people that maybe struggle with speaking to people in person, but it's easier for them online. But we need to have the skills in person. That's who we are. That's our species. So then the thing is, though, you have to try and find like that balance. It's like, great, you can engage with the technology to learn how to communicate, and then bring that into physical reality to hone those skills. But there's this reverse side to it, this kind of flip side to it, where so much of our social activity is online that there is kind of this expectation to stay up to date. And memes is a great example of this. Like with younger generations, especially, like if someone in your friend group references a meme and you don't get it, that's a problem. And you have that FOMO and you feel left out. And so now you're like, oh, well, I need to stay on top of this. Like, I need to know what my friends are sharing. I need to know what the trends are online so that I can reference a meme and people will laugh and I'm cool, you know? And it's like, so there's that other side of the social aspect of it too. And I think that comes down to, again, the connection or disconnection of self. If you know who you are, you're solid who you are, and you're okay with the person that you are and you're just living your life, then you're not really going to care so much about what other people say and think and how they judge you. But if your understanding of your personal value is reliant on validation from other people, then you're going to be more susceptible to that FOMO. And then you might be choosing to invest more time on social media simply because you can so you're trying to stay up to date with your friends in physical reality. You know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Megan, please, you wanted to add something.
Oh, thank you. I love this question because there's keywords in it for me. Number one, who is a model, right? We get to choose who the model is. And that's really profound. Like, are we aware of beings? Are we aware of the media making us choose, wanting them to choose who the models are?
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware enough to observe who you are choosing to be your models? And that being said, I think there's so many great models on social media today. Look at Trish, look at all of you ladies. You are leaders on on social media. And like specifically, I love what Zach Bush, he's building this beautiful community online. And then I think of epi-energetics. It's our emotions and our environment that control our gene. So who we allow to be our models is super important. And it's our responsibility for ourselves and for the people that we have influence over, for the people that we work with, for the people that admire us and look up to us, for our children, right? So that's what I got.
Adam, I would also like to have your feedback on that, because there's also a question that came in from the people watching. And given that you're also into the Eastern metaphysics, I think this is a perfect match. So the question from the audience is that, how do we move from using meditation for escapism to its original Eastern purpose of solving problems? If you would connect that with these new models of work, lifestyle, impacting our social connections and community building. I know I'm making it complicated, but
no, but life is life. Yeah. And life
Yeah.
is complicated. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the nature of life.
Well,
So
that's what we make of it.
exactly. No, this is this is what I spend a lot of time thinking about. On the one hand, not being an expert on the subject of meditation or Eastern philosophies in general, it is important to recognize that, even to piggyback on to even include the last question into this answer as well.
Yeah.
We're living these parallel lives, right? I live in objective reality here in Los Angeles, here at home, as a dad, as a partner, as a freelancer. and we're living the shared existence, across the web. And so the way that this complicates our lives, even just to say that always on culture is a paradox, because we didn't evolve as human beings to be always on. We, I think I feel like what's being missed when we say always on is, it's the presence of solitude deprivation. We evolved to discern, to think, to use our cognitive thinking skills, to be able to make decisions, to ponder, to create, to imagine, dare I say, to be bored, to actually come up with ideas, and to generate play and results and problem solve. So like what Megan was just saying, the fact that there isn't any one archetype or one model, I think that's a really great thing, because we are all different and we all have different lived experiences and different obligations and tasks and responsibilities and sort of lifestyle choices. And so the way that we can learn from one another, using these existing platforms such as they are, is a great thing. And of course, it's still kind of a web of complication to get in that compare and contrast, that kind of FOMO, the traps that we kind of set for ourselves as as the human beings that we are. I really want to get back to the nature of the question that you asked. I think the concept of meditation as escapism is really interesting to speak about, because meditation isn't about escapism. It's really about being present. It's about observing what actually is happening. And that can be really confronting for many of us. And the way that I've found peace with this, again, as a kid myself with a high ACE score, ACE being adverse childhood experiences, growing up as an elder millennial, from one end of the world scenario to the next, becoming a parent. My daughter is 8 years old now. It is, there's a lot to be said. So for me, the way I relate to meditation is like, I have my tea practice. I cook food, I clean, I pursue maintenance, this sort of, again, from that Eastern philosophy, there's that chop wood, carry water. There's the kind of the joy of doing the work, even if it's mundane, boring stuff. And so that's my meditation. It's these like everyday sort of mundane experiences. And so I think having those meditations be screen-free breaks, be little moments of digital detox in and of themselves, or even a creative act like writing, this is where we begin to find new modes of balance, because it's otherwise completely overwhelming. Because again, we didn't evolve as human beings to take in this much content, this much media, this much information, this much disinformation, this much propaganda. Like, we just didn't evolve to be able to filter all this stuff, all at once. So, there is this kind of natural, like, let's find the breaks. Let's find ways to slow down so that we can find ourselves, identify ourselves, the fact that we have bodies, the fact that being immersed in devices is a dissociative act. It is a way to forget that we have bodies attached to our heads. And so there is we're creating new meaning, amidst these experiences. And so it's both confronting and also really exciting to be witnessing and participating in all that. So thanks for asking.
I got carried away. Sorry, I was totally following. No, I really love what you're saying. It's in fact making the energy flow with these mundane tasks, and that's what it's all about. So it's lovely how you voiced it. So Lynn, please the in-person community building.
Yes.
Love the idea.
Well, the online is so good too, though. A personal example is me meeting Trish not too long ago and what's happening with her whole thing. And, you know, anyone watching who feels like they're on the fringes, online is really the place to go to find community. But in terms of community building in person, I wanted to comment on what Emily said about the social anxiety that is, and I can feel the emotion coming. So this is me channeling. If it comes out, it comes out. So
Let it go.
there is a lot of pain in our world since COVID, right? And certain people, depending on when they were born, the age, there is a lot of like social conditioning that did not happen. And so I do community events. I'm working with the national parks and embodiment, right? So it's about getting back in this body, remembering it's fun to be in this, and using our hands is a good way. I'm also a prop manipulator. So dancing with scarves, you know, just getting people out to do things that are kind of like weird and awkward, but where you don't have to have that direct eye contact, where you don't have to have that conversation. I started doing origami. I'm doing origami with people, and it's amazing. You can just go online, and again, you can be in the physical space with people, but you're focused on a project. So I want to encourage everyone to be the person in your community, to be the one that does origami at the library once a week, or, you know, whatever little thing you want to do. And it might be just you in a room at first, because that's how my dance classes start when I get to a new place. And then one person will come, and then two people will come, and then you're building community. So the first step is to get out there and open our hearts again and be ready to really connect. And use our hands. That was the key, is like when you're using your hands, it kind of channels that anxiety, that nervous energy into a thing. So, you know, because they have the fidget spinners, but I feel like origami or even coloring, I always have ribbons with me. The kids love to dance with ribbons, and the adults, once the kids start doing it, the adults will do it too. And we're all skipping around the park with ribbons. It's just like bringing that childhood energy, that healing our own inner child by being ridiculous. So be ridiculous. Thank you.
We can never be ridiculous. I mean, that's what makes us unique. That's what makes us human. So,
I love that. Yes, it's true.
Don't think about that. It's brings us to our next question, and I know we're so many in this, and I could talk for days and hours with all of you. It's so fascinating, but unfortunately, we're also a bit limited in time, unless we all work together to prolong time. We can manipulate that one. Sorry, Chris. So what innovations are emerging to support us in terms of travel, work, or wellness ecosystem in the 21st century? Of course, we have amazing examples already in the group. So yeah, who's going to go first?
I'm keen to
celebrate
the understanding that bots nowadays, machine learning, can support people to identify patterns in culture. So when you travel, you can ask and keep researching about types of protocols or ways of understanding a culture and integrate that fast. And those same machine learning bots can support people's works, because they can answer questions, Q&A, they can give interviews, and I'm really happy because now I can integrate all the knowledge about unification and the identification of water as a unified substance in a bot, and the bot can rationalize that and identify all the constructs that humans use to identify water as illusory separated. And that makes the work efficient and allows you to travel beyond what you know, because if we use technology to implement higher level of awareness in unification or the understanding of holographic structure of reality, or how your intention impacts the inner and outer waters, and machines can make that faster, and humans don't discuss with machines because the machine is supposedly to be right. And if machine learn how to rationalize and identify all the words that confused humanity used to hallucinate with separation, then machines will be very, very supportive to create a global community like it is. Like, because we forgot, because we've been taught countries and seas are part of oceans, that we think everything is apart. But when you travel, you realize, hey, the world, I can walk all over, I can swim all over, and it's all one, and we are all conditioned, and we use memory to perceive present. That makes no sense, but animals doesn't, anywhere in the world. So you see that, and you start using the tools to free your creativity and the rest creativity, and makes traveling like easier and faster. And even if people think it's dangerous and it's going to take over and you're going to lose your job and that, but if AI is programmed with prompts about the illusory separation, AI will help humans to identify and integrate and acknowledge unification. So your creativity explodes and you start creating for the entire trophic chain and the entire human family without melatonin problems or whatever. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. I think there will be a lot of jobs that will, well, I'm not sure that there will be a lot of jobs that will change. There will some jobs that will disappear, but others come into place. That's just the circle of life. There are so many jobs from the past century that don't exist anymore, and new ones that came into place. I mean, a prompter. Who knew what that was like not even 2 years ago? With AI, we now have prompters as a new profession. We have influencers. If you would have said that like 15 to 20 years ago, everybody would look at you like, what are you talking about? The social media manager and so forth and so on. So it's just an evolution. So I don't think we should be afraid of losing jobs. It's just we need to be open and be ready to create new jobs. And that is the exciting part, that we can all create ourselves this time. So I would also like to hear from Trish, exactly, because with HealerVerse, I think it's also one of the innovations supporting. So please.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is literally the purpose of HealerVerse, is to bridge the gap on a global level. So when we're traveling, we can find people that are in the wellness community that are also healers, and events and workshops. Like, I really want to bring people together, especially in person. And I think too, wellness is kind of supported by all of this. Travel is also wellness, right? Like, I learn the most when I'm traveling, and from the people I meet, from the cultures, from the food that I eat, and just going to restaurants. And usually my dog comes with me, even internationally. He's a 50-pound black lab mix rescue, and he's legally my service dog. In 2022, we flew to Greece. We were going to stay there for 2 weeks, and we stayed for 4 months. Then we moved to UK, and I was working the whole time. And since my whole team is in East, like they're in Asia, and now they're in Europe too, and US, but back then it was all Asia and Trish. So actually, it really accommodated me to live a better life in Greece while I was building HealerVerse's beta, and to be around just the culture where my sun sign goes right through, which is like Athens. And also, like, it was less costly to live there. And I just felt so good. The energy there is so amazing. The culture there is right in alignment with me. And I felt that my wellness was a lot more in alignment. I had better receptivity to myself. And even though I couldn't speak the language, I didn't feel like I was missing out, because I was still around people, but what they were speaking about never actually entered my fields because I didn't actually understand them. But I was just able to be around people. Yeah, it was like really beautiful. And like, this question is literally the epitome of HealerVerse. And one of the things that it says on the bottom of the About page is, want to go off grid? ? We got you. You can literally teach people how to go off grid, except for to find each other. And that's what I think we're going towards as a whole.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I would also like to go to Christian, because with Blemish, you're also putting up something amazing to support travel, work, and wellness in this century and forward, I hope. So please enlighten us.
Yeah, 100%. So going back to the question of just what are the innovations, I think spatial computing is going to just allow for just a new accessibility for blended reality, right? And familiar with what Trish was saying about traveling being like the best teacher, I truly believe that. I believe it so much that I'm trying to encourage more people to travel abroad and even live abroad, right? Because there's no better way to really discover yourself than to be a stranger in a strange land and having to adapt to new cultures, right? But then you think about, okay, what about the people who can travel, right? How can they get that same impact? And I think that's where the blended reality comes in, and spatial computing, because it's like, how can we put people in these environments where they have to be that stranger in a strange land and still adapt to different cultures without leaving their home, right? And I think there's an opportunity for that on the horizon. And I think that'll totally revolutionize how we travel, work, and then how we also take care of our well-being. And so I'm super excited about that. And I'm, looking forward to just see how it revolutionizes how we live and travel and work.
Would you all consider traveling as a physical thing, or Megan?
I got stuck in Antigua for 4 months during COVID. And that started, I'd always had this dream of working remotely, and I saw myself working remotely. And so that was amazing. That forced us right into working remotely from exotic places. Then I returned to California. So since then, I've had opportunities to go to Cabo San Lucas and teach yoga for 2 weeks and stay at a resort. And while I'm there, because of Zoom and the technology, I can also work with private clients. So it's happening. And there's so many platforms now. We've got Trish and hers. There's other platforms coming up where healers can put their products on out there and pay like $20 a year. And then that platform advertises it. And so we get leads from there. So it's happening. It's happening. And I'm so grateful for people like Christian and all of you to create the tech, because I'm not a tech person. I can see what needs to be done or what could be done, but I don't have that's not my skill. So I'm super grateful for your skills.
Yeah. We all have our skills and what we can bring to the table. Yeah. If you would only have the tech part, it wouldn't be as powerful as when we all join forces. Right. So everybody is needed and everybody is contributing. Yeah, everything is connected, indeed. I'm a bit hesitating for the next question, because I don't know how much time we have left. But I know that, okay, 2 hours. I love that. You should, well, people out there, we also have an internal chat, I have to admit. Yeah, some say we still have 2 hours to go, so please bear with us. This GatherVerse Summit stays a bit longer. Okay. Well, a very short one. Well, going to check. Okay, let's take this question. Each of you, okay, you will have maximum 30, 45 seconds, and then I'm afraid, yeah, we'll have to go to the next one. So please give your view in 30 to 40 seconds about the question how individuals maintain physical and mental wellness while they adapt to new work and lifestyle patterns. Who's going to go first? The first 40 seconds.
I'll go first. I'll say quick for the physical. Calisthenics. So those are squats, push-ups, sit-ups. Those are things you can do with your body. You can do anywhere in the world, any hotel room, any beach, any park. So calisthenics. And then mental wellness, just find yourself an audio you like, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, wherever you're at, and have it on your phone, download it so you don't need the internet, and get in a habit of 5 minutes a day. Listening to nature sounds is a great place to start, but just tuning off.
Brilliant. Next one.
Okay, I'll go quick. So I understand us as having like 5 dimensions of being. So it's physicality, mentality, emotionability, sexuality, and spirituality. And every day we need to have a routine that caters to the 5 aspects of well-being, which is mental health, physical health, mental health, emotional health, sexual health, and spiritual health, whatever that means to you. You just got to check those boxes. So find something that works to you, figure out what makes that light turn on, and then make it happen. Keep going, do it every day.
Brilliant. Next one. Keep it up, people. Come on. Seconds are ticking away. Megan.
Okay, this is from Megan and Lynn. Never leave the house without dancing. There you go. And yet for me, it's just, I don't have anything specific. My specific is know your jam. Know what makes you work. Know what makes you tick. For me, it's getting out of the house within the first 90 minutes of day. And I go out and I do something energetic, connect with nature, connect with community. And then I've accomplished something and it amplifies the energy for the day. So know your recipe.
Brilliant. Know your jam or know your tea? Just teasing. Trish.
I feel like for me, instead of just doing an abrupt change, it's important for me to keep some of what I had and then start implementing new. So it's not such like a shock. And Palo Santo is great. Tea is obviously great. And so is walking my dog as much as possible and putting my cell phone aside. Thank you.
Brilliant. Eva, what would you say, recommend? We'll try to get back to her. Bad connection. Sorry. Adam.
Start the first part of your day away from your phone. Give yourself 15 to 60 minutes before your phone. Habituate short, more frequent screen-free breaks. Use your hands and fingers and your digits to immerse in life, whether it's cooking or cleaning or meditating or drinking tea or just using your hands more. And take deep breaths, pause more often, and have some kind of grounding gratitude practice.
Christian.
Yeah, so someone told me once that the most important conversation that you have all day is a conversation that you have with yourself when you wake up. And so I think just affirming yourself in the morning of your strength and of your power, physically, mentally, spiritually, I think that gets your day started off on the right foot. And it's why I released and published a positive affirmation guide a couple months ago, shameless plug, but just to really encourage people to affirm themselves and be their biggest cheerleader, but also to be intentionally training their mind to be the person that they want to be.
And Eva, thank you so much for that. And Eva's just back in time. Eva, how would you add to that? I hope the connection is still working. I'm afraid not. Okay. I have to admit that we extended time with a bit more than 5 minutes already. My apologies for the people after us. Oh, what's mine? That's a very, I would say, at the end of the next GatherVerse Summit, you'll all get to know it. So you'll have to watch until the end. No, we'll definitely get back to this. This is just the first coming together, first of many. And thank you, all of you, for the amazing contributions and insights. It was really, well, this was really mine for the day. This was more than awesome. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Quiz GatherVerse, for having us, for being with us, and looking forward to so much more. So up to a good life. Thank you. See you all. Thank you.